Hi everyone, and thanks so much for tuning into my channel. Okay, let's get started on these ribs. So I have about 9 pounds of side pork ribs here, and I'm just going to start adding seasoning for my dry rub. I'm adding about 3 tablespoons of pink Himalayan salt. This is an all-purpose no salt seasoning, and I'm adding about 6 tablespoons of this. I can add a lot of this because it's just adding flavor without the added salt. Now I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of red pepper flakes, which will give some heat, but not too much. This is about 2 tablespoons of onion flakes, and about 3 tablespoons of garlic powder. So now I'm just using my hands to rub all the seasoning onto the ribs, trying to make sure that they all have enough seasoning on them. Ribs need a good amount of seasoning to flavor them well, but the good thing is that when it's on the grill, adding barbecue sauce will add an extra layer of seasoning. This is going to be dinner for tomorrow, so I'm going to cover this and put it in the fridge overnight. So it's the next day, so I'm going to prepare to put these in the oven before going onto the grill. I've lined my pans with some foil that I've double lined for easy cleanup. I'm placing 6 pieces skin side up onto my pans, and the other pieces will be done later because I don't want to crowd the pan. So this is a homemade all-purpose seasoning, and I'm going to add it to the top. It has salt, pepper, oregano, garlic powder, rosemary, and pimento. But of course, you can add whatever seasoning you have because pork is really forgiving. And remember, we'll be adding the barbecue sauce later. I'm covering these with foil, and they're going in the oven on 300 degrees for 2.5 hours on the middle rack. In the meantime, I'm going to make my barbecue sauce mix. I'm adding about a 1/4 cup of just a regular barbecue sauce. And we like a bit of sweetness, so I'm adding about a 1/4 cup of Thai sweet chili sauce and about 1/8 cup of water. And then I'm mixing it all up. So the 2.5 hours are up, and here are the ribs. They're nice and brown, and they are fully cooked, but we'll add them to the grill for the wonderful flavor that you can only get on the barbecue. Okay, so I'm putting all 6 ribs on one side of the grill. The heat on the opposite side of the grill is on medium, and the heat on the ribs are on low. So now I'm brushing on the barbecue sauce, and as you can see, it's thin because of the water I added, which will keep the ribs nice and moist. Remember, they're already cooked, so I don't want them to dry out. I'm going to close the lid and check on them in 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I'm brushing on some more sauce, and I'm going to close the lid for another 10 minutes. Now I'm going to flip the ribs onto the other side, turning off the direct heat and leaving the heat at the opposite end of the grill for about 10 more minutes. And the ribs are all done. They're well seasoned because of the overnight dry rub, and then the added seasoning before going into the oven, and then the blend of sweet and spicy in the barbecue sauce. All these seasonings add such layers of flavor to these ribs, you won't regret spending the time making them. And look at how fall off the bone tender they are. Thanks so much for watching, and happy cooking.